Hello everyone, today I'll be explaining how the Montyverse mod works in Dev. Now first, I'm going to give a big thank you to Astral Spiff who made a video on my mod. Allow you a party from his channel, so welcome! We make programming content here. Now back to the video. I think first we should talk about how our mod is loaded. So the mod loader, Unreal Mod Loader, has to find where the mod is. So inside our mod, we have a data asset label which tells us where our mod file is. Inside of this data label, we have our chunk ID. A chunk ID is an ID for what chunk our pack file, which is our XOR mod, is in. Unreal games are separated into chunks, and this just makes it so we can use the chunks there into a full game. Also makes it so games aren't massive. This ID cannot be 0 as Fnaf 40 takes out. The chunk ID for the Montyverse is 32. When our mod loader finds our mod, he grabs the mod's pack file and adds it to Fnaf's main pack file. We also have one more file called the mod actor. This file controls our mod. When the mod loader is doing anything, it will call a specific function file called post begin play. This is code after the begin play function, duh. In Fnaf source code, there's also a pre-begin play, which is called before begin play, duh. But because barely anything is initialized when that function is called, the code will probably fail to execute there. So that's how the mod is loaded. Now for the code, it's pretty simple. Do keep in mind this is the code for 0.0.1, so if 0.0.2 releases, this will be outdated. Also, I'm not making another one of these. Editing is not my strong suit. It takes a long time to edit these types of videos. Anyways, when the post begin play function is called, we call a function called init. This init function just gets the player, and source it into a variable. Now, how do we get a player? Well, it's using a technique called reference modding. Reference modding is a way to get certain files from the game you're modding. To perform this technique, you have to find the directory of the US file you need. And then you need to go to the root directory of your project, the current folder in Unreal, and the content folder in Unreal. Make a new folder called Blueprints. Last, just recreate the path to the USF file. Blueprint, inside the Blueprints folder you just created, then make a new blueprint file. It's a USF, which is the name of the USF file you want. I'll give an example. So for example, you want to have an asset from a game called utils.usf. And the path is in mix. So the way to access it is first create a folder in your main content directory called Blueprints, then make another folder nested in that called Mist, and then make a new blueprint called utils. Then you can reference it in your code. Keep in mind you will have to change the setting in your mod data asset. That setting is applied recursively. Make sure it's unchecked. Now we also have a tick function provided by Unreal, not mod loader. This is called every tick. Inside this function, we check the mod started. So basically, what happens is that there's a UI, and you can access it by pressing F1. This is going into Unreal Mod Loader, and it has some nice buttons in start and stop. So that's what we mean by one is has it started yet. So basically, if it is, call the init function again. I don't know why, but my previous self thought that was a good idea. After that, we wait 15 seconds before using the spawn actor function to spawn in Monty, which has also been referenced. Now, we need to determine the position of Monty, so we get the player score vector and multiply it by 1,000. 1,000 represents the distance between the player and Monty. Don't worry, it's basic math. Don't get scared. And add it to the player's current position. After that, we convert to a transform. If you don't know what transform is, it is an X, Y, and Z position of a 3D object. It can also be 2D, but mostly referenced in 3D. And then using that as input for Monty's position. That's basically it. So I want to tell you how the F1 menu works. So UML has a built-in menu that you can access with F1. Already told you that. This can tell you information about the mod. It also includes a mod buttons tab. This information can be set with simple variables, which are mod author, mod description, and mod version. So for example, when it says author is Twin Gamer Juice, I set that manually with the mod author variable. Now for the mod buttons, you need to make an array called mod buttons, which is a string by the way. And each of the thing inside this array is a button. Then we have a function called MenuButton Pressed, which the mod loader provides again. It's called when we press a button. Inside the function, we have a switch statement that compares each button's indexes to determine what should happen. If the index is 0, which is the start button, then we activate a mod. If the index is 1, the start button, then we deactivate the mod. But that's how the mod works. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments. Well, anyways, hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you in my next video, live stream or devlog. Peace!